This is Harding Football with Coach Ronnie Huckeba.
Hi, and welcome to our final edition of the 2014 season of Harding Football with Ronnie Huckeba. The Bisons with an outstanding season, second time in the last 3 years that a Bison team has gone to the national playoffs and 3 straight appearances in the postseason. And Coach, it ended at Pitt State, but boy, what a tremendous effort from your ball club in a great atmosphere with a lot of tradition a couple of weeks ago.
Billy, I guess when you have a little time between, we're taping the show, after we played and have had the Thanksgiving break and all that kind of stuff, it gives you, a good pause to reflect on the season. And I guess the way you have to look at it is you compartmentalize the football season itself and then the trip to the national playoffs, and you look at those things in 2 separate lights. The football season was one that was tremendously satisfying, exciting, bittersweet, when you look back at the loss to OBU. And then the trip to the playoffs, I think our program is getting to a point where we're not just satisfied to go. We're going to the playoffs with the idea that we're going to advance and compete for that national championship. And we drew a very tough draw in Pitt State, arguably one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the country. I think most people in Division II would say that. And to go play at their place with the crowd and the tradition and the rabid fans and the just tremendous atmosphere for college football was a treat for us. And of course we got off to a great start and couldn't finish it, but we learned a lot, and we think that our program is competitive at the top levels of Division II now, and we intend to do everything in our power to keep it that way.
I know you had to walk away from the stadium that day in Pittsburgh, Kansas, feeling like you gave the Gorillas your best shot on Saturday.
We did. We also made some mistakes, and we felt like if we could have corrected those, we would have been in the ball game to the very end. But that's one of the lessons that you learn from competing at a very, very high level. And as I said earlier, we like where the program is. We like our culture. It's not all about just winning. But we believe that by doing things right and having the right focus and loving each other and taking care of each other and being willing to sacrifice, that we are developing a program that will consistently compete at a national level. And that's what we're trying to do.
All right, we have a lot to cover today. We'll look at highlights from the Pitt State game and also look at highlights throughout the 2014 season later on. But we'll start with first half highlights right after this.
Healing takes time. It also takes knowledge and expertise. Here we learn to reach out to and care for others through the application of medicine and true compassion. We understand that our mission is to take our training and abilities out into the world where they can and do heal the lives of others. For us, that mission began in a place of faith, learning, and living. Harding University.
Packers. Vikings. Packers. Vikings.
Vikings. Red state. Blue state. Vegan.
Carnivore.
We come from different places.
Uptown. Downtown.
Optimist.
We come to different conclusions.
Half empty.
Half full.
But when we live united, we create real, lasting change in the building blocks of life. The education, income, and health of our communities,
Live.
our families,
United.
even the person next to us.
Live united.
Real change won't happen without you. So give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Sign up at liveunited.org.
Welcome back to Harding Football with Ronnie Huckeba. The Bisons finished the season in Pittsburgh, Kansas against Pitt State. And Coach, so many times we see your defense on the football field early, and we saw that, and very opportunistic early on with the Darius Lane interception.
Boy, we really came out on fire, Billy. I know everybody that was at the game or was watching it online saw that. And, Darius Lane has been a tremendous playmaker for us all year long, and he continued his great play on Saturday against Pitt State. We come out and we throw the play-action pass to Zach Shelley, who has had a fantastic year for us as a freshman. We have to convert a 4th down with the quarterback sneak, and we do that. And we're in real good position. We run the midline triple option, the first phase of it. We hand it to Petty, and he goes in untouched from 25 yards out. And that's a great way for us to make a statement as far as our offense was concerned, and of course set up off of a turnover.
Bisons with an early 7-0 lead, and the defense would continue to dominate right here.
We were in their backfield consistently at the beginning of the football game. We sacked these guys 5 times, I believe, in the first half, and that's a tribute to the way we were prepared and the way that our defensive guys were flying around. And you can see there Trendle Stevenson with the strip. Our defensive coaches and players worked really hard all year long on taking the football away, and that was reflected in our season-ending statistics. That's Kenyatta Johnson with the sack off of the spin move, and we force a punt. Darius, I don't know what he's doing right there, but Darius made every punt return interesting for sure.
Pretty quick drive right here, Coach, with Romo.
Yeah, first play we're in a tight end set. We want to run the belly trap and off tackle, and you can see Ahmad working right there to get in front of Romo and Tello coming up there at the very end, and Romo takes the ball 70-plus yards for a touchdown. And at this point right there, we're up 14-0, and we're feeling pretty good.
And a great atmosphere before the game, and all of a sudden that place was quiet except for the section sitting right behind the Bison bench. And
right.
This was a great series, I thought, from Trayvon Bigelow. He winds up with 2 sacks on this series.
Their quarterback is the player of the year in Super Region 3, which is arguably the toughest region in Division 2. And you can see Trayvon and Dennis Buckner back there again putting pressure on the quarterback. And, we got them right where we want them. We come back out, we put trips in the boundary, we run the wheel route to Romo. He's wide open. And, of course, hindsight is 20/20. I wished he'd have kind of stuck his foot in the ground right there and made that guy miss. But, unfortunately, we don't turn this into points. And as you and I were discussing before we started filming the show, that was a critical point in the football game. If we get points out of this, and of course John normally is not going to miss a field goal that short. If we get points out of that possession, then who knows what would have happened? Because as you can see here in a minute, we're going to score again. Great job coming up and making contact by our secondary, knocking the ball loose. They get back on it, but as you can see at this point, we've really got them. We've got them concerned. This is a great 3rd down conversion. Good job by Eric Kelly, getting that conversion for us, making the last guy miss. This is a handoff to Petty again. We get another 1st down. And as you can see here, we've changed. The quarter has changed, and now Pitt State has the wind, which was a tremendous factor in the football game. That's a great job by Jordan Cantrell coming off the edge, getting the sack. And, we come back and we run the mid-triple, ball's on our 19-yard line, and Romo takes it 81 yards for a touchdown. And we're ahead 21-0, and I can tell you, as you said a while ago, the stadium is quiet, and we got a bunch of people from Pitt State very concerned.
So the Bisons are up 21-0 at this point, and the Gorillas, you knew they would come fighting right back, and they were able to do this, and opportunistic. They had just scored a touchdown before this fumble to make it 21-7.
Well, as you can see, a theme in this football game from this point forward is going to be our turnovers. This is just strictly a miscue on the handoff between Keenan and Petty, and it's one of those things that when they came over from the sideline, neither one of them was sure exactly what happened. That's always an issue, and to be perfectly frank, we did not take care of the football from that point forward well enough to win the game. In a situation like that, against a great football team, tough atmosphere, we allowed them to recover the momentum, and you can't do that. When we had them on the ropes, we needed to put them away, and we had opportunity to do that, and we just didn't get it done.
And it was 21-21 at the half.
Right.
You knew you were going to get the football, though, to begin the 3rd quarter. What was the mindset going into the halftime?
We felt great. I mean, you have to wipe out the turnover in the 2nd quarter and all that kind of stuff and have to say, okay, if you'd have told us before the game started at halftime it's going to be 21-21, would you take that? And we're like, absolutely, we'd take that. On the road against that team, for sure. And so we're making our adjustments in there at halftime. We're feeling good about where we are. We know we've got some things that we can do offensively. There is the concern about the wind, because obviously it was a tremendous factor in the football game, especially when you talk about field position. And I guess that's another point about the turnovers, that when you have a tough situation regarding field position, boy, you sure can't give them any additional short fields, and we did that. So we're ready to come out in the second half, I can tell you that. We felt really good about it.
Okay, so the football game at this point tied at 21. Stay with us. We'll come back and look at second half highlights after this.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised.
Central Arkansas's Christmas music station. 95.3.
Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello? That's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Welcome back to Harding Football with Ronnie Huckeba. The Bisons would get the football to begin the second half, and a 21-21 football game at this point.
We open up here with a slant to Donatella, and Donatella ended up having a fantastic football game for us. This is a triple. We get Ahmad turned up inside. The ball comes out. I think that's Jason Aller getting on top of it. We're in our tight end set, and this is just strictly a miscue between the center and the quarterback. And we haven't had those kind of issues during the course of the season, and it was very frustrating to all of us, the players out there on the field and the coaches, for that to end up being an issue for us in this football game with the magnitude of the game.
And Pitt State had taken a 28-21 lead, now lead 35-21 at this point of the game.
Right, and that's, as we said, the turnovers were an issue, and when you combine the turnovers with the field position problems that you end up dealing with when you have a high wind, boy, it really put us in a bind. We never felt like we didn't have an option on offense. We always felt like when we were out there that we had something that we could do, that they couldn't stop, and really they never stopped us.
Big third down play, first play of the fourth quarter.
Right, and we came back with that same trip set, put it into the boundary. They overplayed the trips. We throw the jail screen to Donatella, and he takes it to the house. Great blocking out in front of him too by Torrey Day and the rest of our O-line.
And that gets it to 38-28, and still a lot of time left in the football game.
Right. We're only 10 points down, but unfortunately at this point we kind of started trading scores.
Yeah, they had come back and now lead 45-28 at this point.
Right. And we didn't, at this point in the game, we did not need to be trading scores. We needed to possess the football. Here's another turnover. It's painful to watch, but that is the story of the game, no doubt. We run the boot, we catch Tello on the crossing route, and as you can see, he's gone.
82 yards.
Right. And as we said earlier, he had 4 catches for over 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. And, at the end of the game, I think their defensive coaches were like, who was that guy?
And again, you're right back to 45-35 at this point.
Right. Back to a 10-point game, but, they were doing a good job with their offense. They made some adjustments and kind of got some things. And, of course, this was kind of the nail in the coffin there. We put the ball on the ground. They pick it up and run it in for a touchdown. And that put them to their final point total of 59 points. And we're still trying, still working hard. This is the sprint out from Keenan to Davis Holloman. We come back. We throw the backside slant to Tello. Out of our twin set, and unusually he gets caught, but I think he was just kind of exhausted by the time we got to that point in the football game. This is a fade route to Andrew Dather. Andrew's a redshirt freshman for us. He's had 2 catches this year, both of them for touchdowns. So if he can keep that streak going, we're going to be all right.
Yeah, and Keenan Kellett, a senior, his last pass right there, Coach, was a touchdown, and obviously That's not the way that he wanted to end it, but what a great 3-year career for him as a starter.
Well, when you think about a guy who's been a starter for 3 years and we've won 27 ball games and lost 6 and been to the national playoff 3 straight years, I think he can walk away from his career at Harding with his head held high. And that's all of our seniors. Those guys have been program changers. They have elevated the bar. We talked about this in our last team meeting. They have really raised the bar for this program, and the exciting thing about that is the young guys sitting in that room, they are 100% committed to continuing to elevate it in all areas, not just our play on the field, but our attention to detail in practice, our academics, our character, our willingness to serve, and of course, first and foremost is honoring God. And we believe that everything we do in this life has to reflect that if if your priorities are right. And that's what we believe in and what we are here at Harding University. And I'm very proud of the young men that are in our program that take that seriously.
He had 21 seniors on his football team. 3 of them had tremendous days, and not just these 3, but 201 yards for Donatella Luckett on 4 catches, 2 touchdowns. Romo, 156 yards on the ground, and we mentioned Keenan Kellett, 307 yards passing and 3 touchdowns in the game.
Pretty good way to go out. I think you would say that, and of course we have had some guys on defense too that were seniors that played tremendous games.
Dennis Buckner and Dennis Buckner, the senior,
right.
That really sticks out.
It might not show up as much statistically, and of course you always got your offensive linemen. We had 4 old seniors on that O-line that were instrumental in our success this year, and we are going to miss every single one of those guys. That was a tremendous senior class, and they won't be forgotten.
Final score 59-42 in the playoff game at Pitt State a couple of weeks ago. Stay with us. We will come back and look back at the season highlights in what was a great year for Harding football in 2014.
The next 30 seconds can save you a lot of money. Just do your laundry in cold and stick to full loads. Auto-sleep your computers. Plug your gadgets in a power strip and switch it off when you're done. Headed out? Turn back your thermostat by 10 degrees. And drive sensibly. The more energy you save, the more money you save. Find other great tips at energysaver.gov.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
Welcome back to Harding Football with Ronnie Huckeba. 2014 will be a season that we will never forget, and so many firsts happened in the season. Another 9-win season, the 3rd year in a row that has happened and has never been accomplished at Harding University before this season. Let's take a look now back at 2014. highlights to look at there. And Coach, I talked to guys like Dr. Jim City, and has been around this program, Jerry Moat, and they talk about the Henderson State game.
Right.
And they said that will be one that will live forever.
I don't think there's any doubt about it. And, those of us that have been around the program for a long time and really appreciate these traditional rivalries that we have with the schools that were in the old AIC. And Henderson has been the dominant team in our conference since the conference was put together, and for us to go down there at their place and win that football game in the fashion that we did was a tremendous win for us. And it's obviously the season in itself was one that was filled with highs. And you look back at these highlights and you see these seniors that we've been talking about. We're heavily involved in a lot of them, and we are. We're going to rejoice in this season, and even though it did not end up the way we'd like for it to, the cold hard facts are that anytime you make it to the national playoffs, there's only one team that's going to end up happy. Everybody else is going to end their season with a loss, and so we are working really hard with the guys that we got coming back to step our game up, to improve in every area that we can as a football player. More importantly, as I said a while ago, improve in every area that we can as a man, and be a better teammate, a better person, more accountable. And we believe if we do all those things, then we're going to have a chance to continue to be relevant on the national level and be a part of that playoff picture every year.
You have to be thrilled with where this program is, with the fact that you played football here, you've coached here for so many years, and to where this program, the level of football that is being played at Harding University right now, you have to take so much pride in that.
Well, I'll tell you how I feel. I feel very blessed. That's how I feel. The fact that I, came here as a walk-on 13 hours away from a little bitty town in southeast Georgia. My parents, my dad's a preacher, and our dream was for me to get to go to a Christian college, and there weren't a lot of options as far as those that had a football program. To be a part of this program as a player, to get the opportunity to come back and coach, to get to work with the assistant coaches that I'm blessed to have, and to see these guys in our program every day and watch those guys, how hard they work, how much they care about each other, how unselfish they are, how willing to serve they are. Blessed is a word that I would use. I feel very, very fortunate.
Coach, I've enjoyed looking back at the season with you each and every week, and always enjoy working with you, and have a happy holiday season.
Thank you, Billy. It's been a pleasure, and look forward to next year.
All right, that's all for our final edition of Harding Football with Ronnie Huckeba. Special thanks to Tim Hamilton, Mark Pryor, and Landis Tyndall, they have put it together for us all year and done a great job, and also help from Scott Good and Nathan Looney. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you next time.